Our woman of the hour, Hunter Stepfanie Kramer. And a good day to you. Listen to this. Today's woman of the hour has a mother who owns her own bulldozer. Now, that's probably why our guest has developed such a strong foundation. Oh, developed such a strong... Oh, forget it. And, of course, playing Sergeant D.D. McCall every week on Hunter requires a lot of inner strength. Watch.
Okay. So which one of us gets to go to sleep first?
You.
Me? Why am I the lucky one?
Why not?
I mean, it's not because, I'm a woman. I'm the weaker sex and all that.
You want to go to the moon?
No.
Get in the back.
Oh, you're trying to make up, huh?
Yeah, just go to sleep.
Okay, wake me up in 3 hours, or if they leave, whichever comes first.
I'll wake you up when I get tired.
Okay, fine. Gee, what is your problem, anyway? What, do you think she's in there faking it with him?
Give me my coat back.
I was only
Give me the coat back.
I was only kidding. Jeez. Good night.
Good night.
Would you please welcome our woman of the hour, Stepfanie Kramer. I saw that episode. I liked that episode. That was one of the few times that you two really came out and verbalized what was going on between you. And also, he evidently had indeed had a romantic liaison with the woman that you guys were staking out.
And so I continually jabbed him about it whenever I could.
That was a good episode. I liked it a lot.
I like that one too.
I've heard the term brass cupcake. Now I've heard steel butterfly, iron butterfly, or steel magnolia.
No, that's a rock group.
Huh? No. One was referring to President Carter's wife, Rosalind, and it generally has to do with someone from the South. But you've been described as a brass cupcake.
Well, that was only in the show, not in real life. Please. I think that
it's supposed to be complimentary.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It came in because brass, meaning a rather tough, strong, the metal that you need, so to speak, to be a cop, and the cupcake was the soft, feminine, vulnerable woman. She still maintains her femininity even though she's a cop.
Well, you had a ready answer for that, didn't you?
Well, that's sort of what it is.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about bulldozers while we're talking about...
Oh, by God. Wouldn't you like to know about bulldozers?
And backbone. What is it? I don't know if we...
I don't know about bulldozers.
I don't know if we talked about your mom. We may have briefly last time you were here, but what's she do with a bulldozer?
Well, God only knows. She's so strange. No, my mother has about 25 acres or 28, something like that, out in Malibu, and she's building a ranch. And she had always had these guys come out with these bulldozers and move these rocks and move everything around. And she thought, heck, why am I paying these fellas to do it? I'll do it myself. So she went and bought herself a bulldozer, and she wears this little hat that says Grace. That's her name. And she drives around her bulldozer. And she moves rocks and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, she's really something.
Isn't she an artist?
Yes, she is a fantastic artist. She is... She's really a Renaissance woman in every sense of the word. She draws, she paints, she sculpts, she builds houses from the foundation up. She's a remarkable lady.
She's also extremely attractive.
She is, and she's also one of my best friends. We have a lot of fun together.
Well, why don't you introduce her to us?
Well, okay. Here's my mom, Grace Korn.
Let me look at those hands, first of all. Not a callus on them.
Yes, there are.
Where? Not like mine, anyway.
See that?
Yeah. Is it tough sculpting, or is it tough driving the bulldozer? I mean, you enjoy all that?
It's really fun driving a bulldozer. It's like sculpting the land with the machine. I guess
so, in a sense.
Really. And I uncovered my rocks so that they hang out all over the place.
That sounds odd.
Great.
I'm not going to ask you to explain that. I'm looking at your mother and I'm thinking, if I were, and you are certainly attractive, I would be intimidated around my mom.
You would? Well,
No, I mean if I were a young woman,
no,
she's so
I
pretty.
wasn't at
You're not at all.
Not at all. My mother's been a. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. She has done more for me in my life in terms of giving me support and that unconditional support and love and acceptance, just as a friend as well, that has enabled me to be able to develop my inherent traits and creative abilities and pursue what I needed to do in my life.
What a wonderful thing for a daughter
And
to say
she's
about
quite
her
a
mom.
you're a remarkable woman.
Yeah, she's remarkable, too.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
your father passed away, am I correct?
Yes, my first father died when I was 12, and
Yeah.
the second one about 5 years ago.
That's a nice thing to say about a mom. What do you think Stepfanie has given you?
Did I pay you enough for that? I got a 20 backstage.
Okay, 50 more. No, she's my best friend. We get along well together. We respect each other. And, you know, when you have children, you try to give them the values and try to raise them to the point where they can make their own decisions. And the hardest thing for me to do was to let them start making those decisions.
What was she like as a child?
Shut up.
Did she have a real mindset when she was
Yes.
growing up?
Yes,
I mean, she gives that impression.
Absolutely, she really did. She was a terror until she was about 5, and if she hadn't changed, she would have never reached the age of 7. I would have killed her. You know. But no, she's always known what she wanted to do. When she was 7, she wanted to be an actress, and she just took off, and that's what she became.
Well, that's one thing. At 7, it's like my daughter wanted to be a waitress when she was
I know.
7.5 or 8, and used
I
to just
know.
drive
But
us crazy.
I had
with
always
the-
told her,
I
I
know.
said, I want to be an actress and singer, and wasn't
Yeah.
I always just practicing
Absolutely.
singing?
But at what
and all
point
that?
did you realize that this indeed was a reality that you had to deal with? And I don't know what your experience with show business was.
Yeah. Well, her brother used to write the stories, and then she and he would get up on the fireplace on the hearth, and we had to sit down and watch
Must
them.
have been a big heart.
A mile.
We had to sit down and watch them perform.
Poor
It's,
parents have to sit. Didn't you have to do that with your kids? You go, well, watch the play I did, Dad. And you sit there and you watch these kids act
And you
out all
say
this
that's
stuff.
No, as I said,
Wonderful.
Clancy wanted to be a waitress, so every night before dinner we had to go through that kind of 15 minutes of getting the order straight, and then she'd run into the kitchen. And that lasted for about a year. We started to get worried about it after a while. Nothing wrong with being a waitress, folks. But
No, but that's the point. Some kids are always changing what they want to be. She never did.
yeah. Now, you two are best friends, so I'm
Yes,
sure you
we are.
talk about a lot of things other than
We do.
moving rocks around and
Yes.
what you're sculpting and how the
Yes.
show is going. By the way, are you still spending a lot of time on Skid Row and some of the less desirable areas of the city?
In the show,
In the
not
show.
in real
No,
life.
no, no. Yeah, in the show.
Yeah, actually, the show has turned into more of a West Side show. We've taken it
Uptown.
a little more so,
Okay.
out of that element. It's a little easier to film.
All right. So in your conversations, what about relationships that Stepfanie may or may not be having?
Uh-huh.
Are you open about that, the
Sure
two
we
of you?
are.
Oh, yeah, we discuss all
I know,
kinds
because you
of
talked last time you were here about there is a man somewhere at some time in your life.
things. Yeah, we
I
give
don't know
each
how
other...
I don't know how you arrive at that, working 15 hours a day.
It's tough, I tell you. We give each other advice on that.
Mhm.
I do
Sure.
her, and she does me too.
Yeah.
Sure, because, you know, we know each other so well.
And we are best friends. We really are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
best friends talk about everything and
Truly.
discuss everything, and it's great.
Is there a criteria, for example, when you meet someone that I'm going to introduce this guy to my mom, or
Yes.
or I don't think
Yes.
I'll introduce this guy to my mom, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom, you got to meet this guy,
Oh,
and he's
it's
going to be
true.
great for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I've
great
done
for
that
you.
a couple
Yeah.
times, sure.
Well, that's interesting. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about people that she might be going with, but that's another side to it.
You know, she never meets them.
You don't bring them to her to pass muster?
No, yeah, come meet my mom.
Once in a while.
Occasionally, yeah, but you always approve. You know, the bottom line is I'm the one that has to date the gentleman and spend
Yeah.
time with him.
Yeah, and if
not
she's
her,
happy, I'm
so-
happy.
And vice
Yeah.
versa. I mean, it might not be, she might say, well, geez, not my type, but it doesn't have to be her type. That's
What about the fellows that she has called you and said, this is a great guy for you?
Oh,
Oh, there's a story here I
we're
can
not
tell.
going to get into that.
I think we know each other pretty well to kind of
Yeah.
hook it together with a couple guys in there. You've had
Yeah.
a couple of interesting
This is
gentlemen in
funny.
your
Yes,
life.
I don't feel we're getting the whole story
No,
here.
and you won't.
And I have the feeling we won't. Grace, nice to see you.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to meet you. We're
Nice
so
meeting
fond of
you, too.
Stepfanie, and
I'm-
we have
I'm
such
fond of her,
admiration
too.
for what she's done.
I'm
Thank
fond
you
of
very much. Grace Court. And Stepfanie and I will return with our magazine.
Thank you.